Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to this channel. This is me Ali Wahid and you are on the channel of Medicare. So as you know that we have started the lecture of pharmacognosy and we have started the chapter about the introduction of pharmacognosy. We have seen the introduction of carbohydrates and then we have started the classification of carbohydrates. So we have revised all of the lectures in the previous video. So I think that you have covered all the things that we have covered. That carbohydrates are the. Do you remember the definition of carbohydrates? That they are the three. We have discussed that carbohydrates are the hydrates of the sugar, and they are the polyhydroxy alcohols containing the carbonyl group of aldehyde or ketone in them, and the basic unit of carbohydrates are the monosaccharides. We have see the structure, the formula of carbohydrate, then we have see what is the role of it, and we see the classification of it. After that we have see that what is the monosaccharide. We have see three definition of monosaccharide, that they are the simplest and the basic unit of carbohydrate containing carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen or oxygen, and they contain the polyhydroxy group with the aldehyde group, can be carbonyl group with can be aldehyde or ketone, and then we have seen its formula and structure. They can be linear or chain or cyclic, and then we have see that monosaccharide their function, then we have see their properties, four properties we have discussed, and then after that we have see its source. So it can be obtained from natural or the synthetic source. So this was the revision of the previous lecture. I hope that you have also revised it and you have cleared all the concept about it. So now in this lecture we are going to start the classification of monosaccharide. We are classify monosaccharide into different bases. The first classification is on the base of number of carbonyl carbonyl group it has. Okay, so on the base of carbonyl group, it has the two type. First type is aldoses, and the second type is ketoses. Okay, so what is aldoses? What is ketosis? So aldoses, these are the sugars that have aldehyde group in them, mean it have CHO bond, while the ketoses they have the keto bond, which is C double bond O within themselves. Okay, so this was the thing that I want to clear within your mind. Okay, so after that the example of aldoses you can add like the glucose, it has the aldehyde group, like the lactose. Don't write fructose in it because fructose is a keto sugar. So fructose example will came here, and ribose. These three sugars contain the aldehyde group within themselves, while the ketosis, its example is fructose and ribulose. So these are the aldoses or ketosis on the base of their on the base of their aldehyde group or carbonyl group present in it. Whether it is aldehyde group or the ketonic group, on the base of it we have divided it. And one thing if you remember that aldo group will always come at the first carbon atom, while the keto group will always come at the second carbon atom. So this is the major difference that came between these two types of sugars. And you can also draw their structure also, and we will draw also their structure uh, in the next classification. So the next classification between the monosaccharide and the disaccharide is on the base of their ring structure. So ring structure can be of two types. So on the base of their what, their ring structure, on the base of their ring structure there are two types. First type is furanosis, and second type is pyranosis. Okay, furanosis is the cyclic form. This is a cyclic ring structure with the five membered. It has the five carbon atoms, you can say. Five membered ring structure resemble furan. Just furan की जिस तरह की स्ट्रक्चर होती है बिल्कुल उसी तरह का इसका होता है. Like the ribose की अगर आप स्ट्रक्चर देखें जो कि RNA का पार्ट होता है, it has just the same structure as the ribose. While the pyranose, it's a cyclic form but it has the six membered ring structure, and it has its example is like the glucose. You can see the galactose. Okay, so these are the examples of it. So on the base of the ring structure, we have two types of monosaccharide, furanosis and pyranosis. Furanosis, furan se nikla, and it has the same structure as the furan has. It has the five-membered, like the ribose, which is present in the RNA. And the second is pyranose, which is the six-membered, and its structure is like the glucose and the galactose, which have the six-membered in them. So this was the second classification of monosaccharide on the basis of their ring structure. Then we classify the monosaccharide on the basis of their stereochemistry. So there are different bases on which we classify our monosaccharide. The first classification was on the base of their carbonyl group which is present, on the base of which we have two types: aldehyde, aldosis or ketosis. Second classification was on the base of their ring structure, furanosis and pyranosis. Furanosis resemble the furan having the five-member ring like the ribose in the RNA. Similarly, pyranose is a six-membered ring structure, and its example is glucose and galactose. Now we classify the monosaccharide on the third basis, which is on the basis of stereochemistry of them. Stereochemistry. Okay, so on the basis of stereochemistry, how it is divided, now we study that. So on the basis of stereochemistry, we have two types of sugar. Okay, so on the basis of stereochemistry, what types of sugar we have. Okay, so first we discuss what is the stereochemistry and how we divide it. So it's a conjugation where OH group on the second last carbon, OH group on the second last कार्बन, और सेकेंड लास्ट कार्बन को हम क्या कहते हैं, पेनल्टी पेनल्टीमेट कार्बन एटम इज ऑन द राइट साइड. अगर वो राइट साइड पे ये वाला ओ एच पेनल्टीमेट कार्बन के ऊपर अगर हमारे पास राइट साइड पे है, देन इन द फिशर प्रोजेक्शन in the feature projection, then it is called the stereochemistry. और इस बेस पे हम जो है ना इसे डिवाइड करते हैं. तो अगर वो राइट साइड पे है तो ये आपका एक डेफिनेशन बनाता है किसका, डी आइसोमर का, डी आइसोमर और एल आइसोमर. ठीक है, अब हमने क्या किया, नाउ आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग इट टू यू दैट on the base of stereochemistry we have classified the monosaccharide into two types. First is D-isomer, second is L-isomer. D-isomer means the configuration in which the OH group on the second last carbon, which is called penultimate carbon, is on the right side in the Fischer projection, then it is a D-isomer of that sugar. And if the OH group on the last carbon atom, which is called penultimate carbon atom, is on the right, not is on the left side, it's on the left side of Fischer projection, then it is called as L isomer. So this was the classification on the base of their stereochemistry, like the D glucose I have said to you, like the L glucose. So these are on these bases of it. Okay, now we classify the monosaccharide on the basis of their number of carbon atoms, and then also we see their examples and their structure, what kind of structure they have. So we see now this kind of classification of it. Okay, so on the base of number of carbon atom we have triosis, tetraosis, pentaosis, oxaosis, until up to the nanosis. Okay, so first is the triosis, which contain the three carbon atoms in it, and it can be again subdivided into like aldo triosis or keto triosis on the basis of their carbonyl group. Okay, so every group can be subdivided. Now I am giving the example of triosis, which is the glyceraldehyde, which is what, glyceraldehyde. Glycer mean three carbon atoms, so make the three carbon atom. And aldehyde mean aldehyde group, so draw the aldehyde group here. Now add the OH group here. Then your glyceraldehyde structure will be completed out. Okay. So this is the structure of glyceraldehyde. Second is tetraosis. So tetraosis, I am writing it here. So it will be tetraosis. Okay, again tetraosis is divided into aldo tetraosis. I have write it here. Triosis. Now it becomes tetraosis. Tetraosis. Okay, and the example of aldo triosis or tetraosis will be erythrosis. So I am writing it here. Erythrosis. So this contains the 4 carbon atom with the aldehyde group. All the examples are with the aldehyde group. Okay, so draw the 4 carbon atoms and now add the aldehyde group here and OH group here. Erythrosis will be completed down. Now next is the pentaosis. Same thing will be here, and just I am changing the example here, which is will become for pentaosis is ribose, and ribose is 5 carbon atom. Then you will add the OH group here, add the OH group and hydrogen group here, and then your structure will be completed out. Just as simple as we have discussed earlier. So it is very simple to draw, and I think now your practice is so much that you can draw every structure that I can told you. Second is the hexaosis, which contains 6 carbon atoms. So the example of hexaosis is the glucose. So you will add the glucose here. So glucose has 6 carbon atom. Draw another carbon atom here. Just as simple as you have done earlier. So it becomes the structure of glucose. Very simple. Okay, as you have seen here. Then heptaosis, its structure, its example is pseudoheptalosis. What example it has? It has pseudoheptalosis. Just add the 7 carbon atoms here. I am adding one more carbon atom. It becomes the 7 carbon atoms. It becomes heptalosis or pseudoheptalosis. This is the structure of it. Then octa and nanoacids, they have the structure here, but the example is not given at that side because monosaccharides carbon number is from carbon number 3 to carbon number 7, and we have draw every structure related to it. So I hope that now your concept is cleared about the classification of monosaccharide on the basis of their number of carbon atom present there. We have classified and we have seen every structure of it. Last, the classification is based upon the functional properties. So I'm tracing it out and I am telling to you the next classification, which is on the base of their functional properties. Functional properties. On the basis of their functional properties, they have two types here. First is the reducing sugars. Reducing sugars. The sugars which are free aldehydic और ketonic group. अच्छा, this is the definition. जिनके पास क्या हो, free हो आपका aldehydic group and your ketonic group. These types of sugars are called reducing sugars. They are most common reducing sugars are the disaccharide like the glucose, sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Okay. Um, you can give the example of glucose and fructose here. They are also the reducing sugars, and mostly the disaccharides are the reducing sugars. And the next type is the non-reducing sugars. These are the sugars which have no free aldehydic or ketonic group because the carbonyl group is involved in the glycosidic bond. So इनके अंदर क्या होता है, glycosidic bond होता है. So they have no free aldehydic or ketonic group there. And their example is, they have two examples. Please write down the examples of their sorbitol, and the next is trihalosis. These two are the non-reducing sugars. So someone can call you that what are the non-reducing sugars, so you should know about it. So these are the the classification of your monosaccharide. We have classified the monosaccharide on several bases. The first, now I'm going to revise our lecture, so you have to revise it with me. The first, we classify the monosaccharide on the basis of their carbonyl group present, and whether it is aldosis or ketosis. We have discussed it. Aldosis have aldehyde group, ketosis are ketonic group. Aldehyde group is at the first carbon, while the other at the second carbon. The examples are like aldehyde are like glucose and their galactose, and their example was like fructose and ribulose. Next was the classification on the basis of their what? Yes, ring structure, furanosis and pyranosis. Furanosis has the structure of furan, five-member ring, and example is ribose, which is present in the RNA, and pyranose is the six-member ring, which have the example of glucose and the galactose here. Then we have the next classification is on the base of their stereochemistry, D-isomer and L-isomer. D-isomer is the one in which we have hydroxy group attached to the penultimate, which is the second last carbon atom. It's on the right side, then it means it is a D-isomer, and if it is on the left side, it is L-isomer. D-glucose, L-glucose, D-fructose, L-fructose are the example of it. Then after that, we have discussed its classification on the basis of their number of carbon atom: triosis, glyceraldehyde; tetraosis, erythrosis; pentaosis is example is ribose; hexaosis is example is glucose; and heptaosis, pseudoheptalose is the example. Then after that, we have discussed the classification of monosaccharide on the basis of their functional properties: reducing sugar and non-reducing. Reducing have free carbonyl or ketonic group, while the other have no free aldehydic or ketonic group because of the presence of glycosidic bond present in it. Example of reducing sugar are like glucose, fructose, and some disaccharides. Most common disaccharides are reducing sugars, while non-reducing sugar example is sorbitol and trehalose. So this was all about our today's lecture. I hope that you understand this lecture. If you like it, then please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and also press the bell icon so that you can get the notification of all the videos that I uploaded. Thank you so much. Meet you soon in the next lecture with the next video. Take care of yourself, and Allah Hafiz.